Bippity boppity boop. Hey Squadamites, Prince Charming here to bring you guys a movie review. We weren't in charge of picking which movie we got to see, and the movie chosen for me was Cinderella 2015. So this movie is a retelling of the 1950s Disney classic Cinderella, and this contains some spoilers, so if you're not familiar with the story, turn this off right now and crawl back into the rock you've been living under your whole life. So although there are some slight variations to the movie, this story pretty much stays close to the original. So this movie starts out with a young Ella and her mother, who although lives in a nice house, can't find a hairbrush to save her life, and a father who smiles says, "Why so serious?" Early on they make it clear that Ella can communicate with animals, which in my opinion makes her part druid. The mother quickly dies from an unexplained death, which I like to call fairytale fatigue, which is common throughout this whole movie. We then fast forward to an older Ella, still living in the same house with her dad. Everything seems fine until he moves his new wife and her two daughters in, and judging by the looks of her two daughters, I'd say her ex-husband was the Mad Hatter. So the next day, Ella's father's off on another one of his month-long adventures, and if it's anything like Game of Thrones, he'll be sure to stop by one of Littlefinger's brothels along the way. Ella's new stepmother's first order of business is to move Ella up to the attic, which makes no sense to me at all since their house is so big that even Robin Leach would approve. Soon after, word gets back that Ella's father is gone forever, another victim of fairytale fatigue. I just figured he realized that the new stepmom was batshit crazy and chose not to return. Ella, who doesn't seem too bothered by her dad's death, runs into the prince on a horse ride, but refuses to tell him her name. It would have saved us all a lot of time if she just told the prince who she was in the first place. And because the prince is the dude, he couldn't just be happy with his interactions with Ella without closing the deal. So he decides to hold a ball, the likes of the Bachelor show, in hopes that she'll show up. The prince's father, who's suffering from, you guessed it, fairytale fatigue, is about to die, so the prince must act fast to find his princess. The day the ball comes, and as you guessed it, Ella's stepmom won't let Ella attend the ball. She would rather have one of her Mad Hatter Jean daughters be chosen instead. The way I see it, the stepmom would have a better chance of breeding a prince to the family if she would have presented all three daughters to the prince instead of just the two, but whatever. The night of the ball, Ella's fairy godmother shows up to save the day. She has no problem turning a pumpkin into a carriage, so I'm not sure why she just didn't turn the kinda hot stepmom into a pumpkin, saving us yet again more time. She also turns a plethora of animals into the carriage driver and horses that resemble something out of the cartoon, The Wuzzles. Ella, dressed in her tidy blue dress, shows up to the ball as expected, where neither her stepmom nor the stepsisters recognize her. Odd. The perfectly choreographed dance number at the ball resembles something straight out of a 90s movie's high school prom or a flash mob. As midnight rolls around, Ella makes a mad dash back to her crib, losing her glass slipper, and everything reverts back to its original form. The CG for this part was pretty awesome. As the story goes, the prince makes every girl in the kingdom try on the glass slipper, without even cleaning it in between each person that tries it on, which leads me to believe that's how foot fungus got started. Eventually, the prince finds Ella, and the shoe fits perfectly, making everything fall into place. But not before Ella confronts her stepmom as to why she hates her so much. Turns out, the stepmom's just straight up envious, which makes no sense at all. We get our fairytale ending, and all is right in the kingdom yet again. And that, my friends, is my movie review of Cinderella. Starring Zorro Daxos, George Washington, Leonardo da Vinci, Baron Munchausen, that Aflac duck, Melissa McCarthy, and that dude's junk from the Little Mermaid movie. Cinderella, because remaking a movie is so much easier than coming up with a new story. Catch you guys next week on the Random Friend Squad. Here's a few things I didn't understand. Why didn't the shoes revert back like everything else did at midnight? If the shoes fit Ella so well, why did they fall off in the first place? You mean to tell me nobody in the kingdom had the same shoe size as Ella? How long do these mice live for? Why did the fairy godmother wait so long to reveal herself to Ella in the first place? Does she enjoy watching her suffer? If Ella was part druid and could talk to the animals, why didn't she use her Dr. Dolittle talents to turn all the animals in the kingdom against the stepmom? Hey Squadamites, thank you for subscribing to the best collab channel in the world. And don't forget to check out the rest of the Random Friend Squad every weekday. We got me on Monday, we got Bud on Tuesday, we got Mike on Wednesday, we got Steph on Thursday, we got Jason on Friday. So tune in every weekday to see what we're up to. Thank you. Oni guy.